Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of AltadenaTalks. I'm your co-host, Brian Bacchus. You'll never be. And to my left is the
Tony
incomparable,
Rains. Good
the
morning.
inevitable, the illustrious.
Did you say electrical?
I said illustrious.
Oh, it sounded like you were saying illustrious and electrical combined. That's what I was like, oh.
Sometimes I do that, make up new words as we go.
I do know that. That's why I said, did you say, because I know how you do.
Yeah, you just gave me a new one to use, though.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. How was everyone's weekend?
We are going to forego the announcements. We'll have a few because, of course, I was going to show a video, but I had to work all weekend, so I didn't get a chance to edit it. But after this, we're going to go live with the video so you can see the unveiling of the mural from the ashes at Farrogsburger and also the happenings at the Rotary Club event up at Low Mountain.
I know that was nice.
It really was.
The jazz. Yeah.
And that too. The quartet was nice. We met Catherine Peoples, who has a nonprofit that's going to be helping people that, Tony will probably have on one of her episodes soon. Because everybody wants to know, well, how can I get my house built? I don't have no money. So, this is not the way people say it, but this is the way I read the comments. Always put some kind of character behind it. I don't understand what's going on here.
Always. So, there are only a couple announcements that I think are very, very important to share. One that came from Cal OES. Jen from Cal OES hit me up this morning and was like, hey, Tony, here's this. And I thought it was super important information. And it is a reminder that the deadline to apply for disaster unemployment insurance is what it's called. DUA is tomorrow, June 10th. So if by chance,
I forgot all about that.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
You need to do that. That's why when she sent it to me yesterday, last night, I was like, oh my gosh, Jen, thank you. I'll post it and I'll talk about it on the show because all these deadlines are coming up because we're at 5 months now as of yesterday. And so if you were, and you know what, I want to say this. I've seen a lot in these other groups and things on Facebook where people, I think they tend to forget that Altadena is one of the disasters that happened in California. Because one of the sentiments that for me I'm seeing is they're forgetting about us, they're doing us wrong. There's a lot of complaining. And it's almost an entitlement thing, right? Like, well, we're homeowners and why isn't the government giving us money to repay? And I've said, it's not the government's responsibility. That's your responsibility as a homeowner to have your insurance, to keep it up, to make sure, like when I got solar panels, I had to add that to my insurance, right? Because if something happens, they're not going to cover that. You add a jacuzzi or a pool, you add that to your homeowner's insurance. So I think it's important that people have to remember, just like the responsibility of if a light bulb goes out, you have to fix that, not the government. I had a prime example. I've been hearing what I thought was maybe water, running somewhere.
Right.
For probably a month, but I wasn't sure. So my neighbor, who's a plumber, I asked him Saturday, hey, John, can you come listen to something? Even just
a lot of Johns.
I know, right? Just even on the outside. And I didn't even have him come in the house where I would hear it. And as soon as we got close, I said, "Do you hear that?" He was like, "Yeah, you have a leak somewhere." I was like, "Huh?" So he looked through the vent with his flashlight. He was like, "Tony, you got water gushing under your house." I was like, "What?" So he went, got his suit on because his plumber's van is parked in the driveway, put his suit on, went under the crawl space. He came back. He was like, "You have a lake under your house, not a pond. You have a lake." He said, "And there's so much water that I'm sinking in the sand." Because, you know, under the house, under the foundation, if you have a crawl space, it's a mixture of sand and dirt, not just dirt.
Right.
And he was like, "Funny, I gotta fix this now." I was like, "Yeah, please," right? Brian, when I tell you it was a pinhole, a tiny itty bitty, like a pinhole, but it had been gushing. And so he fixed it. I'm so grateful. And he saw two other things, one under there and one at the front where you turn the valve. He was like, "This needs to be done and you need to replace this." I was like, "Cool, we're going to do those in a month or in a week and in, you know, another week or a few weeks or whatever." He was like, "Yeah." But that's my responsibility, not
Right.
my county, not my county, my town, my city, my state, right? So I had to pay for that. And had I done it a month ago, maybe I wouldn't have had a lake. When I first started hearing it, I wouldn't have had a lake under there, right? But he said, "This is an emergency call on a Saturday. If you'd have called my company or any other plumber," I said, "What, about 2,000?" He said, "About 2,500. I was like,
Oh yeah.
Because it's an emergency on Saturday and stuff. And
Right.
what he had to do, he had to cut the pipe, put brand new copper piping and fittings, and be up under there. And so when he went to change, he was like, "The only thing, I'm getting stuck." I said, "I got some scrap wood because, you know, I'm a DIYer. I got wood. Let me give it to you under the house." He said, "Can I
Right.
leave it under there?" I was like, "Yeah." Because if you didn't fix it, guess what? Then
You wouldn't have had a house.
my foundation would get ruined. Right. And if my foundation gets ruined, then I got to pay so much more later for them to cut out each section and redo my foundation. So, point of that little story again is going back to everybody that is mad at the county and at the state of California because they feel like they should be giving them money to rebuild their houses.
Right.
It boggles my mind every time I see it on a Facebook post somewhere. I'm like, how is the county and the state of California more even, right? I get people are going to say the county failed us. The notification system didn't work, but it did for
Had
a lot of
nothing
people.
to do with that. It was the
I know.
electric
Well, hold
went
on.
down.
Right. And then Edison or the firefighters didn't rush and put out the fire. Whatever people feel, and they have a right to feel that way, I do not understand how they also feel or believe it is now the county and the state of California's responsibility to give them money to repay their home. And you have insurance, right? Maybe I think wrong or differently, but I just don't see that.
No, because if it was just one house that got burned up, the government wouldn't have to pay for it. The only reason why the government steps in is because it's a natural disaster and they have resources there for that, but limited time offer. What people don't understand is that there were fires 2 months after ours, all in Texas, North Carolina, all kinds of places. FEMA's got to go everywhere. So you just had to do your due diligence. Yes, no one knew what to do because it's the first time for this. But, you know, when you have people like us that were out there in the fray trying to get you the information, and then people still say, like I saw somebody post something yesterday about insurance for your property after the actual structure is gone.
Builder's risk insurance. Yes.
We talked about that 3 months ago.
And last week.
Right.
We talked about it again last week. Yep.
I'm just like, if you just watch the show, you will have in fact, if you just go to the YouTube channel and go to the search for the channel and just search whatever it is you're looking for, chances are you will find it. And we've already talked about it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. My thing is, even if they don't know about it, right? But word of mouth or something, somebody finds out about it. Share it. But we are on here. We always post in all the Altadena pages. But on top of that, then don't come back and talk shenanigans about us because we got a grant that we didn't even apply for. Literally, that grant that's been given to us, and we don't know the full amount yet. We don't know. I haven't even received the email yet from Fire Aid, right? I was just calling.
Well, because we don't even know what we can use it for yet. We're just assuming. Because for all we know, it could be just for us to continue doing this show. But we're not looking at it that way.
I will tell you this. That's exactly what we were put in for. Was for this to support this show. It was not for anything else, but because of our heart.
Yeah, and
for
our
community
our
and
residents.
because of our heart for our community and all those like Brian and our families and all of that lost homes, like so much of Altadena. It's our desire, because of who we are as people and as Altadenians, to give the money back. So we are in the process internally between Brian, myself, and Jamal. We're already talking. As soon as I got the call when we were doing the show last week and I put us on mute and I came back screaming because I was told about it, we started talking right after the show. And it's our desire to help as many renters as we can with grants. And then we'd like to also have grants for, and it's going to be a tiered system, so a higher amount for renters that obviously have been displaced and lost everything and are still having to figure out, where to go, or they have to keep moving. So obviously they need money, right? So we want to be a blessing.
People that have to keep moving. It sucks.
Me too.
Because as soon as you get settled, 3 weeks later, you got to pack everything up again. That's horrible.
And they're not settled, So we are going to be giving cash grants. We're looking at doing something for, if we can, somewhere between 30 to 50 renters. We're looking really at 30, but we'll see. And then we're going to give other ones that go down a little bit, and then another tier of gift cards like to grocery stores. And it's not going to be a $10 gift card, right? We've already said we want to give out.
Yeah, it's going to be 15. No.
We're going to give a substantial amount, because if you have to go to the grocery store, you might have to spend $200, right?
Right.
So we're going to get different grocery stores and get a gang of gift cards. And then we may give even like Visa gift cards as well that have an amount on them. But
you might need to get some gas, or get something to eat at a restaurant or something.
So that is our goal and our plan. We don't know, like I said, how much we've gotten. We're given as a grant. Haven't received the email. Once we receive the email, we have to do paperwork, and they already know our EIN, so they're doing their part. But people are mad because we were given a grant. And just let me tell y'all, we didn't apply for it, didn't even know how to apply for it. We're never sent to apply for it. I was super hyped about volunteering in April and I've talked about this all March, right?
Listen up, people, listen up, because this is the key to how this happened. It wasn't like we planned it. So go ahead.
Not at all. I was up there at Loma Alta Park. We had 4 Saturdays in April that we were beautifying. We were planting, we were painting, we were whatever. I went for 3 of those Saturdays. The last Saturday I could not go because we had the Ashes to Anthem event at Memorial Park, which my church, Victory Bible, threw that. So I needed to go and serve and be there and do some things. So I knew I couldn't go. But the first 3 Saturdays, I was up at Loma Alta at 9 a.m. to do digging and planting, mulching, the painting, all that. Why? Because I'm an Altadena, and that's where I went to preschool at 3 years old. Loma Alta Park, that's where the preschool was. And before then going to Audubon for kindergarten. But what happened was I met a lot of people that day. And as people from the county, directors, senior directors, different people were talking to me, they heard my story, right? About my parents' home and my sister, both of them losing theirs and all of this stuff. And that I went there for preschool and the whole everything, right? My history of being an Altadenian since 1968. Well, Lisa, her name is Lisa Clary Real. She heard me talking and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What's your name? She introduced herself. She had a notebook. She took my name, my email, my phone number down. And she was like, oh. And then I was talking about our podcast, AltadenaTalks. Well, when I started talking about the podcast, she was like, wait a minute, what is it called? And I told her, I gave her the AltadenaTalks, Tony Talks at AltadenaTalks.com email. And she was like, oh, I want to stay in touch. I want to watch the podcast, see what you all are doing. I was like, okay, great. I said, and maybe later, because she said she was with Fire Aid. I was like, oh, great. I said, maybe later I can have you on the podcast. And she was like, yeah, we'll schedule that. She hasn't come on yet. I have a lot of people lined up, and she will be coming on. Maybe in August, just because 3 weeks I'll be gone, 2.5 weeks in July. But
you mean we got a man to show by ourselves? We're gonna have to be Brian Talks for Tony,
or I'll do it like I said, recorded or live or something.
Well,
anyway,
y'all, you gonna do it like Tony After Dark?
I'm gonna do it like Brian, like Jamal did. Jamal After Dark last week. I'll do Tony After Dark.
Oh, I gotta tell you something after we get off of here about that.
With where's she at? Where's our girl at? With her right here.
You just started off with that.
Right. I'll do it with that girl. But anyway, so Lisa met me in April and was like, oh, that's so amazing. She watched a few shows. I don't know whether she watched full episodes or whatever. Mm-hmm. On the 17th of May, when Loma Alta Park opened back up, obviously I was there, Brian was there, Lisa was there. She ran into me, we hugged. She was like, oh, I need to call you. We need to chat. I was like, okay. She said, but I just want to let you know, I submitted AltadenaTalks. No, the first thing she said was, I've watched some shows. It's great. The information that you all are giving, it's accurate. The people you're bringing on is such a service to your community. I said, and that's really what we, our purpose and what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. She then said, well, I just wanted to let you know, I submitted you for a grant. And I was like, you what? She was like, I submitted AltadenaTalks podcast for a grant with LA Fire Aid. Or Fire Aid LA, I believe that's what it's called, Fire Aid.
Which I still didn't know what it was, because we talk about so many things that I didn't even know there a concert happened.
Well, I knew about the concert, but I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And she said, actually, pretty soon they'll be deciding probably next month who they're going to give grants to or whatever, and I'll let you know. I was like, okay, that's it. Talked to her on the first Saturday in April. Talked to her May 17th, hey, Sean. And then last week, I think it was it wasn't on Tuesday because I had the Colonel on. On Wednesday, we're in the show about this time, and my phone rings, and I see it's her. So I put mute on here, and I answer it, and I'm in the background.
Yeah, we can see the excitement on your face. We just couldn't hear you.
Exactly. I was like, because she said, Tony, you guys have been awarded a grant. And I was like, what? The one that she put us in for. She said, I'm pretty sure it's $100,000. She said, but you will know for certain when they email you everything about it. I said, okay. She said, but it's up to that amount. Potentially you could get that up to that amount. I said, oh my God, that's so amazing. Thank you. That's it. I have not received the email yet. As soon as I do, it'll come to mine, probably the Tony Talks at AltadenaTalks. I will then forward it to Brian and Jamal because anything we get in, we do that. I will actually forward it to our AltadenaTalks Foundation email so that all of us have access and see it. And then we will get ready with these plans that we have. We would love to be able to bless people in Altadena, especially the renters, because the homeowners, they do have their insurance. And
their additional living expense money.
Right. But there are some we know that are underinsured and some that did not have insurance at all. So even if they come to us because they didn't have anything at all and we're able to bless them with something, we absolutely will. But I'm creating a couple forms. One will be for renters. One will be for uninsured altogether. And then when we get them, once we have the funds in, which will probably be in July, then we will talk about it. We will dedicate a show to it. We will show the forms. We will give the links to the forms, and we will allow people to submit. And then we will have an event, because we've been talking about this already, that we want to have an event for the community. We will go somewhere. We will do something nice, even if it's, I might have to ask my church, hey, can we give away this stuff? And can we use the parking lot and have like our pop-up and a taco man here, right? And have it where we feed the community at Victory. They've been amazing partnering with us and allowing us to do things like the town hall. But even if we do it there on a Saturday, you text your cousin and ask him to send it to me, Sean. That's not a problem.
Actually, I can probably pop your number over if we still have it here.
Oh, okay.
Or you got is there a new number you got? Or you just want to use the same one? Yeah.
You could. I don't mind giving out my personal number at all.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. You can call me. You can text me, Deshaun.
Thank goodness for presets.
Right. I don't mind because look, I know how to block and delete people if people act crazy on my phone.
I'm gonna call you up and be like, "Yeah, I was wondering." No.
And you already know about the other stuff. I'll be like, "Come on, come through." Anyway, so we do have some plans, but it is contingent on what we receive. Last week we spoke about 75 cents of every dollar we receive will go back to the community, and we mean that. Yes, we would withhold 25% because we do have administrative costs as a nonprofit.
Right. And we've been paying out of our pocket for these, so
Exactly. So that would be, not that we're trying to recoup that. It's been given. It is what it is. But going forward, what it costs to do this podcast, what it costs for a lot of the software,
what it costs to register the nonprofit and get all the emails.
We got to pay taxes come the 30th of this month. All kinds of stuff. So that, obviously, any nonprofit, what other nonprofits do, we can't speak about, but what we will do through our nonprofit arm. Thanks. That's fine. You can call me whenever. We will
call her right now, so operators will be standing by on this plan.
Shut up, crazy. But that's the thing, is we are going to do, because we are people of character, good character, and we have integrity. So we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, we got $100,000. The three of us are going to split it and pay ourselves, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go buy me a new Maserati.
This is episode 104. We have not paid ourselves to this point, and that's not our intent. We're doing this for our community because we love Altadena. And yeah, so, but the beautiful thing about this podcast is the reach continues to grow. Mm-hmm. We had Easy Build Co. on here on Thursday because they contacted me and found me through the AltadenaTalks podcast. And we're like, I got an email like, hey, Tony, we'd love to meet with you, whatever. Matter of fact, Wednesday, Brian, we got to be out at their company in Burbank Wednesday afternoon, right, I think, too, for that meeting. But we also had someone reach out to Brian, left a text message on Friday. And this is a company that's back east that found us because there is a donor that would like to do a basketball court
custom.
And so I've already reached out to another agency in Pasadena who services Altadena and Pasadena. I'm not telling every detail because we got things to work through, but it is, you want to bring up their site or whatever and just show that real quick, the Creative Sports Concepts.com or on IG, Creative Sports Concepts. They don't do like regular basketball courts. And this is why we're not going to try to go to a park or one of the gyms at the county because too much, paperwork, red tape, all of that. The other one we're not going to do is try to go through PUSD because a lot of the schools were burned down altogether. Others are displaced, all of that. And that will also take a lot. But there are nonprofit entities that service a lot of the youth in Altadena and Pasadena. And so we are going to be working with them to bring a new basketball court into the area for our youth. I can't say how long it will take. I have to go to the agency today and take pictures because when I talk to Mark about it, I'm going to email him the pictures and they will probably dig up or whatever and fully redo the basketball court. So do you have pictures of any of them? So they do courts like, I don't think they did, but like how they did that Nipsey Hussle basketball court was done in LA. I know it wasn't them, but they have a lot of their pictures on their IG for certain. Oh, if they don't have any here. But anyway, what they do is do these amazing, they do indoor and they do outdoor, but these really amazing basketball courts. So we are continuing to grow, and our reach is growing. And someone literally contacted us and said, there's a donor who wants to utilize or go through AltadenaTalks nonprofit, our foundation, to donate a basketball court somewhere in the for the Altadena fire victims, for the youth that were Altadena fire victims. So just like the grant, we didn't ask to be put in for the grant. We didn't apply for it. We're not applying for this basketball court, but someone who has a heart for Altadena, who is going to pay for it, has found our podcast, and they want to work with us to get this into the city or the community, for our youth. So I will be working with them. We will be working with them on that. So I really,
you can see all these different custom courts that they've already done. So
yeah. And those are inside, that they will do outside or inside. So we're going to work with the agency to see what we can get done. So it is our hope that people, like, we had something really negative last week in one of the groups that said, we only have 150 followers on YouTube.
There's an outside one right there. But you see how elaborate that is? That's like something that's going to make kids want to play. It's not going to be drab. It's not going to be, and it's going to represent Altadena and Pasadena together, because it might not be in Altadena. It might be in a place.
You know what that court reminds me of? And dang it just slipped my mind. It's my favorite movie, and you know which one.
Oh, Above the Rim?
Nope. Where Shaq, Allen Iverson, all of them were the old.
Blue Chips.
Nope.
Really?
Hold on, I'm gonna have to look it up. They all played elderly. Lisa Leslie played.
You're talking about Kyrie's thing, right?
Kyrie, yeah, I said Allen Iverson. Kyrie Irving. Uncle, not Uncle Ruckus. Lord, what?
Well, he should have been. He looked like the character from Uncle Ruckus.
But that's what that court. Remember the final when they had the finals and they were playing on all the
right.
Court? That's what that court you pulled up.
That's so dope.
Yeah, but that's what hopefully we will be able to partner with this organization and bring to the community for.
But you see how this design on the court and the design on his shirt are almost matching.
Yeah. Yep.
It's cool.
So yeah, I have to find the movie before.
There's an outside one too, right there. That looks like crazy wood outside. It must be temporary. You can move it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's an Under Armour Elite 24 shot.
Uncle Drew. That's what it is.
Yeah, that was Uncle Buck. I was about to say Uncle Buck.
Right. That's what it was like. Uncle Ruckus, Uncle Drew. Yeah.
Uncle Ruckus. That is funny. But we know who Uncle Ruckus is.
Right. But that's what the courts are like. So, the fact that people literally are reaching out and finding us and saying, hey, you all are doing amazing stuff. We want to partner with you. That's what we're about. And if it helps our community, that's it. And that's what we're going to do. So again, hopefully we don't ever have to talk about this again because we try to stay positive. We're not going to dwell on negativity. But for people that believe we're not doing much or we shouldn't have gotten a grant, I would love to hear from some of those same people when they're blessed with some of the funds that we give out to the community. And I do hope that they apply and we're able to help them.
Well, we're mostly going to be focusing on the renters because they got the short end of the stick. They didn't get any of the owner of the home's insurance money. I'm pretty sure. I was probably in that same situation. I had no right to that insurance money. I never paid on the bill. I never did any of that. So I had to go and figure it out. And I missed a lot of opportunities because I wanted to do the podcast and not go wait in line over at some spot, so I don't even really know what to say, but we're still going to make sure that the underrepresented people called renters are taken care of, because that our focus is to really help everybody. But if you got insurance, you don't need our help. I'm just telling you, you don't need most of the nonprofits' help.
I won't say that they don't at all, because you know this, and I know it because we've talked to owners. There are people out there that their insurance is nickel and diming them and is trickling out the money. And every 3 months, they have to prove they're still living here with the rental agreement, with this, with that. There's some insurance companies that have been great, right? Cash people out like, hey, here you go. Here's 6 months in advance, or here's a year's worth of what, or whatever. Like, people are not having to even think twice. But then there's others, and I will say, namely State Farm, because I know a lot of people that have State Farm that are going through the ringer with them just to get what they've paid into, and not even truly everything they paid into. So our focus, yes, is on renters, because so many renters that we know and that we do see in these groups literally lost everything and have had no resources other than the little, I think the $700 FEMA might have given. And then FEMA's like, oh, wait, you're at this address.
2 months later, they give you some money. So I went 5 months without getting anything from FEMA until, was it March 20th or something? I mean, not March, May. So just imagine if I was homeless that whole time, relying. And then FEMA actually gave me assistance for a year. Went and checked to a hotel, and they said, you got to check out by Saturday. And it was like the day after Valentine's Day. And I'm like, huh? Thought it was for a year.
Yeah.
So I'm still appealing all of that stuff.
Good. I'm glad you are still appealing it, because even when I was at Friendship, at that thing that Lionel, had me come to, that's what the lady said, or that we popped in at, or whatever. The lady said from FEMA, continue to appeal. Once your case is open, continue to call, continue to upload documents, or do what you have to, because every time you upload a document, that triggers your case to stay open. If you don't, after a few months, if there's no communication, they haven't gone in and made notes, they close your case. Then you have to appeal. And even in the appeal, you really still have to stay on it and diligent. Yeah. Otherwise, they'll close it. So receipts, continuously upload receipts, she said, because it's
trust me, I'm gonna upload my bank statement, because that's all I do is use my card. I make sure that, and this is what I'll try to tell people: don't really spend cash. If you can, use your account and verify everything through that, then you can use the statement and pull off the stuff that you don't want to be reimbursed for. But it's a valid record, and plus you don't have to really keep track of receipts. You just have it on there and you're good to go. And you can send them the last 4 months of your bank statements.
You can, but there's people that are gonna be like, I need my receipt, right? And so Either way, whatever you do, upload it, continue to, because it continues that trigger in the system that keeps your case before them and open. But our whole desire from day one, or when we all got together and started doing this, Brian starting it, his desire was, hey, there's stuff here, you all come and get this stuff, right? Because we're all in the same boat. And then when they brought me in a week later, it was because of the information that I was sharing and that I had vetted, and that it's accurate information. And that's kind of my lane, is I'm going to vet people, whether we bring them on or not. I'm going to get accurate information. I will call people. But the problem is no one is having a major Altadena conference throughout agencies. So that's not true. There have been plenty. There have been plenty. Maybe you haven't been connected or know where to go, but there are people that have been boots on the ground since day one. We had a builders conference that I hosted personally at Victory Bible Church, because that's where I go to church, and they let me use the sanctuary and everything free on March 9th. Even prior to that, Victory announced on all their socials, and I probably announced here, because anything they do, I try to announce, that they had a week or two in. So maybe I didn't announce it because I wasn't on here yet. We had public adjusters and attorneys, right? Then we announce every day. any information that we get from all over the place, whether it's Victory, whether it's the NAACP, Brandon Lamar has been doing a lot, whether it's My Tribe Rise, whether it's, whoever or whatever. There have been conferences, there have been town halls, and there will continue to be. And as we get the information, we're sharing it with you all here. So, and then the one-stop shop, or has been there on Woodbury. We've announced that every single day. We're on episode 104 today. And then we even announced things like, hey, the deadlines we talked about SBA deadline. We talked about FEMA deadline. We have put the ROA and the links for the Army Corps here. We had the Colonel on last Tuesday. It's definitely out there. And that's why we're here every day. And when you don't handle our real estate bill. Okay. And so there have been plenty, and we get stuff daily. I get emails, Brian gets emails, Jamal gets emails, we get texts, people send us images, and then we go and check it out, figure out who's doing what, and then we go from there. So speaking of that, I'm going to segue real quick into the few little announcements that we do have, because there are people here and I want to make sure you get this information. So there is a workshop. Most people have heard that there is going to, but the problem is no one having a major.
No, I haven't even put up here what I'm laughing at yet.
Oh, okay. So most people have heard about the mortgage relief for the state of California. California announced last week, and this opens in 2 days on June 12th. But what happens is the mortgage relief program, the state of California has set aside $105 million to allow individuals to apply for mortgage relief, which would give up to $20,000 for 3 months of mortgage payments for people's homes. Now, yes, we know it's not perfect, because there are, hey, I found mine, Mr. Cooper, on there. Even though I don't qualify, I was like, hey, Mr. Cooper's part of it. But there are a lot of banks or lenders or servicers who are not part of the program. My understanding is people have been calling saying, why isn't this one? Why isn't this one? And now they're working with some of the banks to see if they will accept that. I did hear that over the weekend. I can't promise that, so please don't quote me and say, oh, Tony said all the banks are going to be, because that's not what I said. And I don't know that will ever happen. But in order to qualify, your mortgage servicer has to be part of the program, number one. Number two.
A lot of complaints in the group. My thing's not on there. I'm like, well, you might want to write and see.
You're underwater right now. Everything you just said was underwater. It's okay. I just wanted to tell you, because other people wouldn't have been able to hear you when you're saying it. They'd have been like, oh, yeah, you're still underwater. He'll go and fix that and he'll come back. But the other thing is that there is an income threshold, right? Water. You're underneath the water. You swimming like Nemo. You're under the water. You popped out, it'll pop back in. I know there's an income threshold. I believe for LA County, it's $140,000 max that you can make. And we've heard complaints about that. Well, who can afford a house where they're only making 140? There are people that have been in Altadena a very long time and don't make that and have a mortgage that may not be. You're on mute. Or, oh, well, I can't hear you. You're not under the water, but there's no sound. Just your mouth is talking. So now you're back, and that's perfect. We can hear you. So there are some limits. Let me find this.
We have a ton of people today on our AltadenaTalks Instagram, and this is what I've been flipping back and forth getting all these comments from. So
yeah, I see. I know.
Yeah, you see them probably going, dang.
Yeah, so, okay, so I'll just go over this real quick. So, again, it is, Brian, can you pull up that, or present the flyer? So,
which one?
Put a link in here for the mortgage relief. workshop.
Oh, you want me to put that link up that I sent you on WhatsApp?
Yeah, if is that for the Eventbrite for people to register?
Yeah.
So okay, so we need to probably put 2 links up for anyone that doesn't know about the mortgage relief program.
You just did send me this. Okay, I got it now.
Yeah, the mortgage relief program is there's a link, and applications open in 2 days on June 12th. However, LA County is hosting this Saturday, the 14th of June at Loma Alta Park. LA County is hosting a workshop for the mortgage relief program. So if you have questions, because we can't answer those, right? We don't know. But if you have any questions about it, you can sign up on their Eventbrite, and then you can attend it this Saturday. But it's about being displaced by a natural disaster, the mortgage relief payment workshop. It's Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Loma Alta Park. Again, 3 months of mortgage payments up to a maximum of $20,000. Funds never have to be repaid, and it gets sent not to you. It goes directly from the program to your servicer. So there is help coming in. I know we're at 5 months, but in the meetings I've been in with the After the Fire group, it is going to be a process, and things are going to start changing, and things will trickle into place. But there's an influx of money, and in order for people to be held accountable with the money, they have to go through certain processes. And if they don't, things could get really out of control or a lot of mismanagement. So yes, it's slow, but I believe people are really trying to do it so that it's right and the money gets in the hands of the people that need it. So that's the Callisis Mortgage Fund. And it is anyone, and let me just say this again, I said this at the very beginning, this is by a natural disaster. Altadena was one natural disaster in California this year. There has been a ton of others, obviously Palisades, right? And trust me, they're 2 different disasters. They're 2 different areas. They had 2 different start dates. So each one got declared as a natural disaster by the state of California and federally. And then there's, if somebody had flooding, right? That's a whole nother natural disaster. And so that is exactly why, hey, smack yo auntie. Hey auntie. I don't know, baby. I cannot say exactly why they're mad because I'm not them. I told Brian this morning, it seems like there's a whole lot of entitlement that people feel like the government should be doing everything for them, and they want to hold the government like super accountable. But where is our own personal accountability, meaning as homeowners, right? Anyway, that everything I say on here, and I will say it a million times,
Mr. KJ, the investor, I believe that if you lost your barbecue truck and you didn't have insurance, you could actually, you should have already went to FEMA, because that's what happened to me. I lost my job. My company is run out of my house. I lost my cameras, my drones, computers, systems, servers, all kinds of stuff. But I submitted the line items from all the things that I bought while I lived at this place, from Amazon, from Best Buy, from all the other tech places, to FEMA, and I kept resubmitting it, just like she said earlier. They aren't focused on you because there's 6,600 homes of inhabitants that are not. They're all doing the same thing. So you probably got 20,000 people, 25,000 people applying at the same time. Not to mention there's Hollywood Hills, Palisades, Malibu. Then you got Texas, all these other ones. So FEMA's spread thin. There's disasters happening all over the place. We don't.
Well, not only are they all over the place, the people from the hurricanes during hurricane season last year still haven't gotten all their stuff, and they've been denied because the current administration is cutting FEMA funds. So,
and that's another thing.
Budgets are cut. And once a state gets funds or they're promised funds, and then the administration comes in and says, oh, no, you're not getting that, right? And we know this administration hates California, so they're not trying to do anything for us, right? So the fact is,
Clash of the Titans.
We have to go with what there is, right? My bigger thing is these insurance companies where people have paid into it for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and they're refusing to help people or give them the money that they've paid into and what their policy says. And then, of course, the whole thing with Edison, and people need to take up their claim or lawsuit individually with Edison.
Well, the whole thing with the insurance companies dumping people 2 months before the virus. You know, how unconstitutional is that?
Well, I don't know if that's constitutional.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, that's just wrong. You don't just drop people because you see that what you did. You guys knew this was coming.
That's what conspiracy theorists say. That's what they believe, right?
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist believer, but
it makes you wonder. Correct. It makes you wonder. Okay, so anyway, this is one event. Brian, could you put up the link for the actual mortgage relief program?
I will do
that this funder is for, or this, I'm sorry, not funder, that this flyer that we're talking about is for. That's number one. Number two, would you mind putting up the links after that for the Eventbrite so that if anybody wants to register and go to this event on Saturday at Loma Alta Park, they can do that. So you all, there will be 2 events put up. One, if you don't already have it and haven't seen it, to the Cal Assist Mortgage Fund program. And the other is to their Eventbrite for the county so that you can register. And
I'll probably put the Eventbrite one up right now, but I got to do it shortly because that bad boy is long.
No problem. I'll keep talking because I got other stuff that I could talk about. And so those will come up. Another thing that I think is very important that we started to talk about and kind of got off track, but the disaster unemployment insurance, the deadline is June 10th, which is tomorrow. So I was thinking today was the 10th. So the mortgage thing is in 3 days on the 12th. That's when that application opens. But if you wound up being unemployed as a result of this disaster, you would need to go to the EDD's website and apply for your unemployment insurance. DAU benefits apply to losses beginning the week of January 12th. So just like if you're out on disability or unemployed, you always have to wait a week. So this disaster was declared the 7th or 8th of January, so you can't claim anything until the 12th. And then it is for eligible full-time workers. They can receive between, now again, hey, we the messenger. We don't institute the program. If you're ever on unemployment or disability, you're always not going to get your full thing. But receive between $186 and $450 per week for up to 26 weeks. That is based on, they always go back a whole entire year. If you've ever been unemployed, it's based on the 4 quarters, the previous 4 quarters, and what you made. So what you made and what came out of your check that was paid into the state's unemployment fund is what your your insurance payment will be based on. So again, this is disaster unemployment assistance insurance, and part-time workers may also qualify for benefits if they were unemployed as of January 12th. They can request to have their claim start date even if they apply after. So again, go to the EDD or call them. And if you need the, it's just edd.ca.gov and look up or search there disaster unemployment insurance or DUA, or even if you put it in your own, browser, you can find that. So thank you, Brian. You've put that up. That's where you would go to the Eventbrite for the mortgage relief workshop, or mortgage payment relief workshop. It is free, but they need a head count, which is why they put it as Eventbrite. So And Brian put that already up for the link. As far as the EDD, again, for the disaster unemployment insurance, that's edd.ca.gov. So that's where you go to file for unemployment insurance with the state of California. There's a nice event that I think people may want to know about, but it is, I was tagged, I don't know if you were, Brian, you probably were, by Jackie Howard, that the
I think that's Smack Your Auntie.
might be Jack, but it's Smack Yo. And then she said, Hey, Auntie, what's up, or whatever, or he, or whatever. But anyway.
No, it's Smack Your Auntie. That's her. Is
it? Yeah. I didn't even see it on there. That might be. Okay.
Smack Your Auntie.
So, it is Smack Your Auntie. Okay. But anyway, Jackie tagged some of us. The African American History Museum, the California African American Museum has an exhibit going on right now if you want to go over to LA and see this, but it is called Ode to Dina, Black Artistic Legacies of Altadena. So they do have a really, really nice exhibit going on right now from different artists from Altadena, from, all genres and time and all over the beautiful town of Altadena. So that's something, if anybody goes out there regularly or has a membership, you might want to take a drive out and go to the California African American Museum and check that out.
So Auntie's coupon says if you paid yourself as a self-employee, you will not qualify for EDD disaster insurance.
Oh, Auntie's coupon, did you already try? Is that why you're saying that?
Yeah, we like to hear this from the horse's mouth. That's
good. Yeah, because I don't know. This got sent to me from Cal OES, the governor's office, saying, "Hey, Tony, this is information that we wanted to send you." And that was yesterday. And I was like, "Oh, Jen, that's super important. Thank you. I will make sure we post this information and talk about it tomorrow on the talk show, on the podcast." So, I don't know about that. If you already tried and you know that for a fact, could you just say yes, Auntie's coupons? But
Mark Carter's in the house.
Hey, Carter J. So those are the announcements that we have for today. Jamal is out. He's our announcement guru. And, he was on the Announcements After Dark on Friday. And then he was out on his family vacay. And now he's doing stuff with his daughters, who are basketball gurus, volleyball gurus on the court. And they made it to the finals. So he is off doing that. So hopefully they do really well. Congrats to them. Oh, yes. So Auntie said yes, she did apply. And
she also said she was denied twice.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us know that, because anybody that's watching might also want or need that information. And obviously we don't have it. So so thank you so much.
Why they didn't do it like they did with the unemployment during COVID? Because you really didn't have to qualify for anything. You just applied.
That's why they're doing it this way, because you know how much money was ripped off that was false during COVID.
Yeah, I do.
And so now they're like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not losing all that money again. That's why.
Forget you.
Question for yourself. That's why.
$10 million in California alone.
Ridiculous. Yeah. So thank you, Auntie's Coupons, for letting us know that. But definitely, if anybody needs to apply for that outside of that circumstance, apply. Also, the person that asked about Mr. J, about the barbecue truck.
Oh, KJ, the investor.
Yeah. So that, again, wouldn't come under a grant, because the grants that they're giving out, I will say this, to my knowledge, the grants that they're giving out are to community organizations that are supporting. I think a barbecue truck is your personal business, and I don't know that they're giving grants out to personal businesses, but there is a round 3 grant that you can apply for fire aid. if you go to fireaidla.org, at the top, there are across it says grants, donate, latest news, watch, FAQs, or sponsors. If you go to grants, it will show you round 1, who got all of those grants. It shows you round 2, which was what was announced last week. And it has us in the first where it says 700,000 in grants. And it says under the heading of critical information for fire victims, Altadena Rotary and Altadena Town Council have a grant. AltadenaTalks, and then Pally Strong has a grant. So we are literally under the critical information for fire victims, which is hopefully what we are doing and providing as a service. There's wildfire recovery, which is 17 million in grants. And again, you can look and see the types of grants that are given out. But if you go to the top where it says round 3, you can click there. We'll take you to a Google form that says nonprofit organization submission form. So that right there says it's for nonprofits. If your barbecue truck and equipment wasn't a nonprofit, but it was your personal business, that would have to be probably handled by your business insurance or FEMA or who knows who. So
yeah, because this is only for 501c3 service victims of the LA wildfires. So you would have to be a nonprofit in order to qualify for any grants.
Yeah, I don't know that there are other grants out there, because generally grants are going to be through nonprofits so they can give financial help to people, right? Or for whatever their purpose is. But I do not believe it would help with replacing your business equipment or barbecue truck. So I'm sorry that happened and you lost that, but I don't know. I haven't heard of any grants, and I don't know that there are any for that, other than I know there were small business grants. I don't know that those are still.
Now, if I may make a suggestion, why don't you go to this link and you can see all of the nonprofits that got money, and perhaps that you could present your situation to them and they might be able to help you out with some assistance. There's over probably 100 different nonprofits here that have received money. And I would just go here and look to see what the definition of what they're doing for the community, to see if you might qualify to get a part of that gift.
So I just Googled small business grants for Altadena fire business victims, and AI brought up an overview. The first thing talks about LA County is offering small business loans of up to $75,000 to businesses, and you can also, go through the SBA. That's through, and then it says additionally, the Los Angeles County Department of Economic Opportunity and the City of Los Angeles are providing grants and other assistance to small businesses impacted by the fire. So literally go and Google, or whoever you use, Bing, whatever, small business grants for Altadena fire business victims. That's exactly what I typed in. This is what I got. And then it says specific programs and grants. LACDA, which is the Los Angeles County Development Authority, provides loans of up to $75,000 to eligible Altadena businesses. The second bullet is Global Empowerment Mission Grants, provides grants ranging from $5,000 to $10,000 for small businesses and artisans in LA and Ventura counties. And there's links, there's bullet points and then links you could click on. Then the LA Regional Small Business and Worker Relief Funds, it says these funds provide direct financial support to businesses, nonprofits, and workers impacted by the wildfires. And then TMC, Community Capital Grants, offers grants of $5,000 to small businesses impacted by the fires. And then obviously the next one is the SBA disaster assistance. So that's loans for through the small business. But if you go and just type in, like I did, small business grants for Altadena fire business victims, all of that information will come up for you. And maybe there is, it looks like there definitely are some grants for businesses that lost equipment and everything. So hopefully, Mr. KJ, the investor, that helps you out a little bit.
Well, there was 6.7 million in grants given for frontline and displaced workers and small businesses. So if you go to this site and go to round one and scroll down to this, you can see where you might be able to go to some of these particular
Those orgs, right?
Orgs and get, like the Labor Community Service Program in Los Angeles, providing cash assistance and other resources to union members impacted by the fires. You got Black Worker Center, Filipino Worker Center, Restaurants Care, that you might be able to get something from them. The Small Business Relief Fund. There's a whole bunch of information here. We provide the links. Right. It's up to you to do the research.
Right.
And I really, just as you were talking, I was just skimming through these just to see what might be helpful. And that section of it would be.
Yep. So that hopefully, Mr. KJ the Investor gives you a little information. You can either Google, like I said, what I did, which was small business grants for Altadena fire business victims, and find something, or go to this fireaidla.org website. And if you see on here someone that was granted money, was given money as part of these grants, and so far to date for rounds 1 and 2, they have listed 75 million grants given. Again, we haven't gotten ours yet. It'll probably be here next month, and I don't even know the full amount. So she said It could be up to 100,000, but whatever it is, we're going to turn right around, help some renters that need the financial assistance, and give grocery store gift cards and Visa gift cards to some others. Depending on how much money we get will depend on what we're able to give back to the community. But that is where our heart is, and that is what we plan and purpose to do.
Yeah, we've been earmarked the messengers. So all we're doing is taking it from here and giving it to you over here.
Yeah.
And I just hope there are more organizations out there that do the same thing. But one thing you are going to see from us is that transparent. So there's not going to be a stone unturned.
You froze and broke up.
Messed up again.
Yeah, it said one thing you are going to see, and then you were frozen for a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, we're just taking it from one hand to the other. We're just the messenger. We're the conduit. And we just hope that other orgs will be as transparent as we are with the financials and with everything else, to be like some of these people in some of these groups who are upset that things have happened for certain people, as if everybody was just supposed to get $100,000 handed to them. First of all, if a closed mouth doesn't get fed. If you're not signing up with these organizations to let them know you're in need, how are they supposed to know?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Because literally, you can go to this and you can find out any of these. And if you have all of your valid, documentation and all of that, then contact them and say, hey, do you still have funds available? What is your program? Do I qualify? Right? Or whatever. And if so, then.
Or you might get mad because there's a whole bunch of paperwork you got to fill out.
Well, we know that that's going to happen, unfortunately. But it just, it depends. And after the Fire USA, those are the ones I've been in several meetings with. They just invited me last week. I'm going to go to their conference in September. I had gotten an invite and signed up for it. And it's, I believe, a free conference. I don't have to pay for it. But then I was like, I remember telling my mom, I need to make sure that I book my flight and hotel and see how much it's going to be. And then I got an email a couple of days ago that said, Tony, we're so thankful you're going to come and be a part of this, because I've had meetings and all that and learned a lot of the information that we're disseminating here. But they are going to book my flight and pay for my hotel. So I will not have to do any of that to get more information about what happened. So if you don't know, after the Fire USA was founded after the big fire in Sonoma County, right? That wiped out a town up there, Paradise. And so they found out what the process is. That's why the sheriff in Sonoma County was able to talk to Lieutenant Marquez, who came to Victory a couple weeks ago, and said, if you have not filled out this form, please fill it out, because I just was in a meeting yesterday, I think on Zoom or whatever, with the sheriff of Sonoma County. And based on, because we've never experienced this, based on their experience, these are the phases. You get the burn down. After the burn down, you get people trying to come go through your ashes and sift before you, or break into houses that are standing and loot. We've experienced all of that. The next phase is the squatters. So if you have a lot that now has been cleared, people are going, pitching tents or motorhomes or whatever, right? We know some people have said, I'm going to put a motorhome with the generator on my lot and live in it until, some people need to save money, whatever, but until I rebuild. That is allowed. But there are other people that know this, because this is their game. They have a motorhome or whatever. They're going to go on the lot like they're the homeowner and squat. Well, you know, just like if you have a renter and they have your address as their residence for 30 days, you can't just tell them to leave. You have to evict them. Squatters know all the laws and the rules about squatting and how they could be on that property for X amount of days or that 30 days or whatever it is. And then they could go down to the county and claim the lot as theirs and do a quick claim deed. And now the lot that you purchased, you may even have a mortgage on a house for, is their lot. And yes, it happens and has happened. So we see people or lots all throughout Altadena that have chain link fences. What Lieutenant Marquez of the Altadena Sheriff's Station said was, and we played this video last week, Monday, I believe, was don't just have a chain link with a lock, because somebody that has a grinder tool or one of these cordless, tools that can saw things off, cut things through metal, can literally saw through it in 5 minutes, take that lock off, have access to your property, close that back, and even put another, lock on it and say it's their lot and squat there. So what the sheriff said has to happen, number one, is fill out that form that people have no business on your lot and put your name and your direct cell phone number. They're doing extra patrols. When we were up at the lot, me and my sister yesterday, sheriffs drove by, waved. We said, hey. They stopped. You guys good? Do you need anything? You need our help with anything? We said, no, we're just here fencing the property. Me and my sister, I went to Home Depot and bought all the stuff, and we put the orange fence, which is like 4 foot tall, and it's mesh fencing around the front and the back, because they said, if you have that form filled out and you have that fencing, and we put the no trespassing signs and the solar lights, because they said put them where the signs are so we'll illuminate the signs at night, and they just get the solar power during the day. Then if they drive by night or day and see anyone on that lot, they are going to, even if it's 2 a.m, ask them who they are, ask for identification. They're going to call you no matter what time it is and say, is this person that we've identified supposed to be on your lot? And if you say no, they're arrested right then. So we keep getting information and bringing it to you all here so you know what the process is, and so that you can do exactly what you need to do. And I bought the 100-foot roll. I didn't get it last week, Marcus, when you showed us, and it was $27, so it was like $38. And I bought a bunch of these stakes that you just step on, but I had my mallet with me so I can make sure it went down into the dirt, because some of the dirt is hard. And then some of the other wooden stakes that were left at the property by Army Corps, I used some of those to kind of weave in through it and make it more sturdy. But we were up there hour and a half most, me and my sister, and did it all. And got it all done so that, because my parents have everything on the lot, right, and have the form, meaning the form, not everything, because the lot's empty, but they can now, as the sheriffs pass by, if they see somebody, they're going to ask them, they're going to call my mother's phone number and be like, hey, is this person supposed to be here? And that's where you can get them arrested and thrown off your lot. You do not want anyone squatting and then taking possession of your land that you or your parents or your grandparents or great-grandparents, whomever, have been paying for or paid off because they know the game, right? So after the fires got a big grant, but it's to educate other places. They went and educated the people in Lahaina. And the first meeting that I was invited to, there were people there from Sonoma, from Boulder, from Lahaina, and they can tell you this is the actual, almost every fire is the same, because FEMA responds the same, SBA responds the same, states may respond a little bit differently, but there's basically already a built out roadmap, and almost every response is the same. And they can say, yeah, this is this phase, and in 6 months you'll see this, and in 10 months you'll see this. So there is a leadership conference that they've invited me to, and probably with some of this grant money, they're going to pay for my flight and my hotel, and the conference is no cost to us. But then I get all the information for those 3 days. I come back to SoCal, I share it here, and I share it with Victory and the Eaton, I think the Eaton Fire Collaborative, Jill or Daryl Qualls or whoever have probably gotten the invite, and they may be going as well. But if we share it amongst our community, right, through whatever organizations we're with or we're connected to, then everybody knows. So they got a grant, but it's so that we can know, right? And then guess what? Like they told us, and I didn't like hearing this won't be the last time that people experience this. Hopefully it is for Altadena, but something could happen again. But there will be other natural disasters. We know climate change is true and it happens. So in the future, they may say, Tony, can you travel to this location? Because this happened and you were boots on the ground with it. And we want you to share your experience and what you did and talk to people. And I'm gonna say yes. And none of those people pay for it. The people that I met with that were here from Hawaii, that were here from Boulder, that were here from Sonoma, after the fire pays for all of it. So they did get a grant, as they should, because they're making sure that people that are now experiencing it, and those of us that are considered leaders in the community that are invited and that meet with them and want to move forward, get the information and continue to disseminate it, because it's so utterly important.
Exactly. And that's all I got to say about that.
So you could comment, because I was on a roll there. So I wanted to
I'm over here sharing because it was giving me some technical difficulties earlier and wasn't allowing me to share to the groups. But now it is. And so now that's why my eyes are darting back and forth.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like if we can continue doing this, and we're going to, but with positivity, and not act like we own the community, because we do not. We're not trying to censor or stifle anyone's opinions or thoughts or anything. Come on, share with us. Say how you feel. Say what you're experiencing. If you want to actually come on, call me. We'll set it up. I'll talk to you. I'll vet whatever, so we know what you want to talk about. If you just want to come on as a guest, like sometimes Marcus pops in, right? We'll share.
We invite you. I mean, the invite's been there for 100 and some episodes.
Oh, you know what I do need you to pull up? The county assessor's form.
That's exact. Well, I was going to actually put this up because this
let me tell you all. Tomorrow on the Tony Talk Show, I will have Nick Arsden, who is, that's exactly what I need up, who is a town council member for Altadena. He will be here. They were given a grant. He'll talk about that and other things that the town council is involved in. A lot of people feel like they don't represent Altadena, but a lot of Altadenians feel like, yes, they do. However, he will be here tomorrow as our guest. And then on Thursday on the Tony Talk Show, LA County Assessor Jeffrey Prung will be on with me. What I would like is for anybody, and you guys can share this with anybody in the county, but definitely Altadena, even if it's somebody in Palisades, Pasadena, Sierra Madre, whatever. If you go to this link, AltadenaTalks.org /
LA Asses or Questions.
LA Assessor Questions. I knew you were going to do it. Because when he created this link, I was like, why is this saying LA Asses or Questions? Right?
It all depends on how you're reading it.
We all cracked up. It's actually LA Assessor Questions. if you go to that link because you would like to have a question posed to the LA County Assessor, we have those questions. I gave Candy and I think Lawrence on the back end, no, they're PIO and then Candy, who's coordinating it all, access to the questions so that as they come in, or if they come in, they will get notified and they will have access to see them, so that prior to Thursday, they can say, somebody asked this question, and this question. They could go to the data, get the information, and then he's prepared. Obviously, we do this live, and he knows that it will be live and people will engage. So please come on Thursday. And if you have questions for him, whether it's about Prop 13, whether it's about Prop 19, whether it's about the 10%, my question to him will be this, Brian, that I know I'll probably put in the spreadsheet. But I want to know, I do know because I've already asked him, but I want to ask on here live, if we have heard 10%, right, for the Prop 13, if you go over 10%, the first 10%, your assessment for your property taxes will not change. Anything 11% and above will change. But because the fire regulations and the ADA compliance regulations now state, or because of that, anyone with a home 2,000 square feet or below has to go up 200 square feet. They don't have a choice because hallways have to be wider, doorways have to be wider, bathrooms have to be larger so somebody can fully turn around in a wheelchair and it's accessible. So because of that, that now poses to me a question. If I go up 10% under Prop 13, my assessment doesn't change. I am now forced to go up 20% or 200 square feet, right? Because my home is under 2,000 square feet. So am I now going to be reassessed for that 11 to 20%, that extra 9%? Or are you going to, because of this, change that 10% to that 200 square feet or 20%, right? Because obviously under Prop 13, that was a voter's law. And so I don't think they could change the law. So how will our county assessor then do that? Will it be under 10%? You still stay under Prop 13, but now because you're forced to go up another 9% or, another 10%, that additional 10%, you will get a separate assessment at today's property value for that 10%. So when you get your bill, you'll have the regular and this. So that one to me is still kind of mind-boggling because we just don't know. So he will be here to answer that for sure on Thursday, and any other questions that people have about, the calamity forms, I want to know how many came in, how many are, thank you, Marcus, how many are complete. Okay, I'm taking it down because I can't see me. No, I'm just playing. Hey, Mom.
Because I'm trying to put the important ones up there. The whole bunch of getting in trouble now.
So, I have questions for him. And then, when he's so stupid, lasses or questions. But if anyone can think of them, if you could go to this link prior to, right? They would have all the questions and his staff would be able to say, hey, these are the questions that have come in thus far. We need to make sure we have these answers, right? I know he knows off the top of his head, but sometimes we see that things are changing every day. So if we can get that information, that would be fantastic. He can answer it. And then there will be discussion questions from here, right? That he may answer something and then, like happens all the time, our brains go, oh, and what about this, right? Put that in the chat and he will answer those as well. So I hope everybody that's on today comes on Thursday and even more people. And if you have questions for the LA County Assessor himself, not a deputy, not deputy of the day when you call, but him, right, who we elected and our taxes pay his salary, ask him whatever you need to ask him on Thursday. So tomorrow, Nick Arsden from Altadena Town Council, we will be on here at 10 a.m. promptly. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, we may not be as prompt. We're working on that. Trust me. We had a discussion today. We're working on it. But those are our more lax days, but definitely Tuesdays and Thursdays when Tony Talk shows are currently on. We're gonna be here. When your bell goes off at 10 a.m., you will be able to click and we will be here because we've asked people to come on and sit with us for an hour. So I want to make sure we open at 10 and you have that full hour to get your questions answered from the actual professionals that this is their job.
Exactly.
So that's all I have today. A few announcements, a few just discussion points, and then Brian is going to work on, I don't know if he wants to just play the video live later on our community page or because it's over an hour, or if he's going to make clips. Prior to us coming on this morning, going live, he was in the background working on it. But if he goes away from the software where he was trying to edit the video from Saturday, which shows like the unveiling of the mural at Farrell's Burgers and the concert at Loma Alta Park, it was almost 10 o'clock and it said he had 38 minutes left. And I was like, we can't wait 38 minutes to come on. And if he goes out of the screen where we're at now to work on that or comes into this and we go live, it kicks him out of that. So
only today.
Right. Any other time it's acting right.
Right.
So yeah, that's it from me. You got anything else?
Basically what I'm gonna do is right after we're done, maybe by 12:30, we won't come back on live again, but I will show the video in its entirety live. It's a 1 hour and 13-minute video. It's basically covering the mural unveiling and the Altadena Rotary Club resource event. That the reason why you guys watch this is because a lot of you have been displaced and you don't live here, so you can't come to the different what do you call it? I don't know why this dude is calling me, knowing that I'm in the middle of the podcast. Knowing.
Well, don't answer, and he's gonna have to wait.
No, I didn't answer, but it's ringing in my ear. Yeah, I'm trying to go back and kill it. But the reason why we're out there and we go film and we do all this because you're not here. We try to let you know during the week that these things are happening so that you could actually make it out here. I mean, again, I needed water, didn't grab any because I'm busy. But there was water, there was food, there was the quartet was there. There was a whole bunch of things. And, you know, we try to share it to these groups so that these people who are keyboard commandos can actually get from behind the keyboard and come outside. Meet us. Let's meet the people who are complaining about all the things that are going wrong. The resources are right there in your face, and you're not taking advantage of it. So when I go in these groups and I hear, well, why did you come outside? Did you do anything? Did you need a ride? There's dial a ride. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there. But if you don't want to come out, just say that. Just say that. You know, if you want to continue to complain, just say that.
Yeah.
You know, don't complain and say, how come we can't find out where this money is when we be on here for 104 episodes telling you every time? That's what irks me.
It's okay.
I'm about to bust like that blood vessel. You see that vein?
Right. It's okay. That's why we addressed it
at
the beginning. And
I know.
And we are going to, again, I can show you better than I can tell you, right? So when the funds hit our account next month or whenever they do, we believe it'll be by July 15th. I don't know. We don't even know how much.
I'm pretty sure it's after the fiscal year begins.
Yeah, but we don't even know how much it is.
We know it could be $10 and we made all these promises.
Hey, we don't know what it is. We just were told it could be up to $1,000. Doesn't mean we got that. I mean, up to 100,000. Doesn't mean we got it.
Yeah, up to 1,000.
Whatever it is.
I said nothing and just lied to you.
Whatever it is, you will know because we will have a whole little check and we will come on. We will announce it. We will have the forms that we are creating for renters and for others because we're going to do one specifically for renters. We're going to try to be big blessings to them if we do get $100,000. And then there will be others where people will get gift cards, right? For groceries, for food places, eateries, for Visa gift cards, because you might need gas. You might, whatever. You might decide you want to go to Burke Williams and have a spa day.
Or I know that's what I want to do.
Or have massage envy, right? Go do what you need, right? That's part of being a fire victim. If it is, oh, I had the first 10 sessions of mental health counseling, but now I have to start paying and I want to continue. Well, I just got a $250 gift card from AltadenaTalks. Go pay for your session, right? We're not going to put limits or tell people what they can or cannot do with it.
For what you need it for.
Be a blessing to our community. And we will probably do something, like I said, where we meet up, whether it's in a park or parking lot, who knows what, and maybe have a taco man there, right? And serve people as they come and have them sign in, probably with their QR code, and we can say, okay, yes, you were approved, because only those that get approved after they apply for it from us will be invited to the event, right? And here we're giving you this. And then later on our AltadenaTalks Foundation, we will list those that were given. We're not going to list what we gave, but we will list the names of the people that were given the renter's blessing, whether we call it assistance, whatever, and then others that were given other blessings. And so everybody will have full transparency as to how many people we helped. And then when we have to file for that, obviously that will become public knowledge, about what people were given or whatever. But
which won't be until next June.
Right. But if people want to share what they were given, that's fine. We don't care about that, right? But we're not going to go out here and be like, oh, and we blessed somebody with this and that. No, we were in the community trying to help.
And please don't come with your fraudulent documents.
Yeah,
because I'm a computer forensic cybersecurity guy, and I will really look at those.
Pretty much. Anywho,
so be honest, and whoever's supposed to get the money is supposed to get it.
Yeah,
we don't need fake documents coming up to like the Red Cross situation all over at all the different locations. You find sometimes you just got to put your foot down and say,
Right.
That's why it's not good to give that type of money instantly, because that opens up the door.
Oh yeah, because once they did Red Cross, they got a text because they hit their account immediately.
Right. And so they went and told all their fraudulent buddies, hey man, I just got this money over here. You better come over here and get some of this money.
Yeah. So anywho, I think that's our show for today.
Yes, it is. And it's 11:45. In about probably 1 hour, I will be going live again to show you what happened over the weekend. It will be a video. I won't be speaking, so unless you see me on the video speaking. But other than that, have a great day. We got about 2 more weeks before the beginning of summer. And I can't wait. I can't wait till the sun comes out. I'm tired of all this gloom and
all. Well, we know May gray, June gloom. We're just in the regular season. But don't complain about it, because when July and August come in and be like, exactly, and be like, who is complaining? So we're here now.
Better get them spray bottles.
Like, oh, I need the air conditioner on. So don't be complaining. Enjoy the
better have one of them big giant fans to walk around and do that boots on the ground dance and carry your fan with you.
Okay, hold on. So yesterday at church, I'm sitting in this one row. My girl Binti is sitting behind me. We had the biggest laugh because there's another young lady, and I guess she, hey, it was too warm in there for her. At church, people have their fans, right? And people, even women, be having their little personal. Why are you blurry, Brian? On my end, you are. Maybe not to
I am too. Yeah, just went.
Just did that. Okay, that's better.
The camera comes in focus sometimes.
And so, women have these personal fans sometimes that they have on, right? Baby, this chick had a fan that was this big, and it folded down and had like a stand, kind of like my ring light has this fold down, that she put Had she put it on the floor at first, we wouldn't have seen it. She put it in her seat because we were standing up during praise and worship. You know, got hot. It was Pentecost Sunday and it was crowded yesterday, which was awesome. But this fan had to be this size, bruh. And she turned it on and had it for a minute like this. I looked at her. I was like, it cannot be. Like she can't use a regular fan or whatever, or have a little one. And I turned around, looked at Benji, and Benji hadn't been to church in a minute because when their house burned down, they had to move.
So this what we doing here?
Baldwin Hills or something. And I called her last week, like, ma'am, I have not seen you. Why? I got to call a couple people today because I haven't seen them in 2 weeks, and I'm gonna be like, is there a problem? But she works at.
You got the money. You took the money and ran, huh?
But she's like super busy. When I tell you, Brian, I hollered. Me and Betsy looked at each other. She said, "This is what I miss about my BBC family." I'd never seen somebody come with a fan like that. I was like, Lord help, if she that hot. Woo! I hollered though, because her fan was not the little handheld personal, and it wasn't the one that you do like this. It was this big, folded down. And she first had it, like I said, on her seat, but then she put it on the floor. I think when she saw us laughing, we had the best laugh. She put it on the floor and tilted it up.
That's hilarious.
Dude, it was the most hilarious thing I had seen in my
That'd be like me walking in here with this fan talking about, yeah.
That's about, yes, but it wasn't, yes, exactly. That's the size of it, but it wasn't round like that. I mean, it was just, you know, I was like, anywho, we were saying goodbye, but if you wouldn't have said anything about a fan, I wouldn't have thought of that story. But you all have a wonderful day.
I tell you, word triggering. It happens to me all the time.
Exactly. But anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. Check in about an hour for Brian's video. I'm looking forward to seeing it too.
All right, y'all. Peace. We enjoyed talking with you today. And actually, this time went by so fast, an hour and a half. I didn't even pay attention.
I know. I didn't either. See you all with Nick Arsden tomorrow.
Peace.
Bye.